Hey everyone, my name is Jason Myers and I'm doing my very first Arcade1Up unboxing and I'm so excited to start on this. Now I've actually already purchased the Mortal Kombat, the very first one that came out for $299, and much to my dismay, about like literally 3 or 4 weeks after I bought it, Costco came out with an even better one. So I made sure I waited a long enough time for this one. I bought the 12-in-1 Ms Pacman Legacy Arcade1Up. I paid $285 at curbside pickup at Walmart. And I know it's a long time since it's come out. I'm sure there's a ton of other unboxing videos, and it certainly isn't as exciting as getting it delivered to you since I had to go buy it. But nevertheless, we'll go over the unboxing. We'll take a look at the front side, and we'll go from there. I hope you're as excited for it as I am to play it. Thank you. I'll be right back. All right, here it is in all its glory. Here is the actual box, Ms Pacman Arcade1Up. And my apologies for text messages that are coming in. Anyways, here it is. Here's the box, Ms Pacman from Arcade1Up. Here is the picture of the game itself. And here is the side art of the box itself. And let me show you the games that it comes with. As you can see, it comes with Ms Pacman. Obviously, that would be the main event. Here's Galaga, DigDug, Galaxian. Here we have Mappy, Rally X, Rolling Thunder, King and Balloon. Here we have, as I said, Rolling Thunder and the Tower of Druaga. My apologies if I did not get that one correct, as I've never heard of that one. So anyways, this is the box itself. This is the front. I guess either way you look at it, this could be the front or the back. Here's the side of the box. So let's go ahead and I'll open it up and show you what exactly the parts are. And I'm still the hardest part of this so far seems to be removing everything from the box because everything's so tightly packed away. But I did want to caution you. There are certain things you might be able to get away with throwing, maybe being a little bit less careful with, other things not. So I'm just saying for this one here, I was taking a look at it, and I know I have to be super careful with it. This would be the 17-inch monitor that comes with it, so just be very, very careful with some of this. Also, I've never dealt with an arcade one-up with a lit marquee, so obviously because the Mortal Kombat unit I put together did not have a lit marquee, and of course, like 4 weeks later, Costco comes out with their special bundle with the stool and the lit marquee for virtually the same price that I paid. But that being said, no, I'm not bitter, honestly. Wink, wink. But anyways, this does have a lit marquee, so obviously you want to be careful with that. But anyways, yeah, these Arcade1Ups, their monitors, their 17-inch LCDs are not the latest and greatest. The MSRP if you bought this separately on its own probably would be about $30 or $40. But for these games, it more than does the job well. But I'm just saying, you still have to be very careful. I don't know, it would be really a big pain in the neck to have to shop for just another monitor if by chance you drop this box or something. But anyways. So just be very careful how you handle certain pieces when you unpack it, specifically the monitor and, of course, the marquee. And, of course, certain units, like the X-Men and the Marvel, like their whole look of it rests upon, the side panel. So be careful with those, too. So back a sec. All right, it's time for the tour of everything as it's been laid out, because I just got done taking everything out of the boxes. So here's I believe this would be the right side panel. You can see the classic Ms Pacman art. There's probably various iterations of Ms Pacman, so this probably highly resembles one of the originals. This would be the back panel. As you can see, actually it's upside down. And let me rotate my screen. So this is where all the cords would go through that hole right here. And this, of course, would be the vents. And this is the other side panel. This would be the left-hand side. And you can see that is, I believe that's exact opposite of the other one, so it's matching. And this is the player board. Now you can see I'm not going to mod this at all with my Raspberry Pi, but if I did, I would actually only be able to have a limited amount of games like Centipede and other games like that only had one button. You know, Joust, Galaxian, Galaga. Well, this already has Galaga on it. My apologies, but like Joust, Space Invaders. You know, things that require one button. There's a couple other ones. And finally, taking a look at here, here's the speakers. Here is the marquee. Apparently, it does not light up, which is fine. Here's one of the tops of the joysticks. Here's the power. Here's the plastic hasps that will be used to secure the frame. Speaking of the inside frame, here's one part of the inside frame, and this is the main event. This is what the screen will look like. 17-inch, by no stretch of the imagination is it as good as possibly anything you can buy on its own from Best Buy or something. It's probably not even LED. I'm sure it's an LCD, which is a step grade below. But for these type of graphics, it works possibly even better than an LED. You can see the detail across the perimeter of the monitor right here. And of course, I will have to remember to remove this plastic, as it says, prior to the control deck assembly. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let me actually get into the putting it together. All right, step 1 and 2 are out of the way. You put the, I guess that this would be the, depending on how you're looking at it, this would be the left-hand side, and you attach platform G onto the side, and you have the wooden dowels inside here, and then you have the, I guess you could call them, they're not exactly screws, they're bolts, wooden, but they're made for wood, so I guess you could call them wooden bolts, screwed into from the side platform here, or the side panel, into the bottom platform here. So that would be step 1 and step 2. All right, step 4 is in the books. Here we turn the left side, the side that's probably going to be winding up on the left, on its side, and attach these support beams. This one directly will connect to the other side, as will this, and this right here, which is also attached with those other screws, well, shall I say wood bolts. This will probably be, I'll know more as I get it together some more, but this will probably be the frame, or the edge, if you will, that the control panel will rest on, will wind up ultimately resting on. This is where the actual control panel will go. And this slide, I believe, will be the slide for the actual monitor. So we're actually beginning to actually visualize what it will actually be winding up looking like when I get done with it. So now I believe the next step would be assembling the other side here and essentially doing the same thing, and then turning it on its right side up, and then installing the control panel, and then the monitor, and then hooking it up. So I guess you could say that we're almost there. Actually, the next step will be turning this over and placing the plastic brackets into these edges right here in the back. As you can see right there, you got 4 of them, and that's going to hold the monitor in place as it rests inside the cabinet itself. The reason why I'm even going into any sort of detail, because I'm sure you're like, well, yeah, duh, no kidding. But I did. The reason is this: when you unpack it, it comes with this plastic, almost like a cellophane, to protect it. As you can see, it's got the orange stop sign that says "Don't do anything." So I just wanted to remind everyone: don't completely forget to tear it off, but do not tear it off until the very last minute, until the very last second where you have to. Do not tear it off, because as you can see, I'm going to have to at least turn it upside down, and even on this couch, which is relatively new, you could even be using it, you can be even assemble it on a tile floor or on carpeting, whatever. Anything has the ability to mar this surface right here. And this is one of the things you want to protect a lot, because even though this is, as I said, just probably, it costs them nothing probably to purchase. It's probably like, I think I priced out one of them to build, and this came out to be like $40 or something like that. But even though it's like $40, it's like, it would be a real pain in the neck to have to search out and get a new monitor this exact size, because it's sized really to perfection. Now, I understand you could probably get a replacement right off the bat from Arcade1Up because they have the extra parts, but those won't last forever. Eventually, these cabinets will go into another phase, and they're going to lose retention stock pretty quickly. So you'll be out of luck. You'll be like wasting all kinds of time on Amazon and on Best Buy and whatnot, trying to find the exact specifications of this, unless you decide to mod out your cabinet, which is fine. But this is not what this is about. So anyways, just be careful. Don't remove this protective plastic until you absolutely have to. Well, it's my mistake. The next step was not to put to start on the other side. The next step was to actually insert the monitor or screen into the slot. And prior to doing that, as I showed you, you had to put in these white fasteners right here, plastic fasteners, and then you actually screw them into the bottom here to brace the monitor into the groove. And then I take it the next phase will be to secure the other side to this, and then turn it up right upside, so, or however way you say it. But anyways, you get my drift. All right, we have this one side up now after putting in all the framework and interconnecting framework, I guess. So this is the complete first side. Here is the monitor, and here's the top. Unfortunately, it won't be a lit marquee, but the speakers are inside of here, which should sound very well. And here's the Arcade1Up insignia on the other side. So now what we're left to do essentially is put on the other side, which will keep everything nice and tight if I have everything aligned properly. So that's what we'll do next. And then, again, this is the side view of it, and so everything's kind of leaning right there, but as soon as the other side goes on, it will actually hold everything in place because of the dowels and because of these connecting pieces as well. So anyways, wish me luck. All right, this is the trickiest part of putting together the Arcade1Up machines, and that is putting this last piece on. It's not the last piece, but really, once you get this piece on, it's basically done. And you put in the control panel, which is like 4 screws, and that's it. But this is definitely the most challenging piece. So this is where all of the pieces on this side meet the pieces on the other side, and you have to make sure everything is aligned. And essentially, that is what keeps everything together. So there's a lot of screw holes that have to line up. Not only that, but you have the frame of the monitor that also has to line up on the inside there, the slide part, I should say. And so yeah, everything has to line up. So there's about, I'd say about 20 holes that have to that have to match and be, I guess you could use the term, be symmetric. And that, as I said, that's the most challenging part. So hopefully we can get it connected. All right, I got it centered, and I have the screws in, I guess the D screws. And it seems pretty solid, as I was able to match up the holes by some miracle. And so now I have to turn it right side up, and obviously the control deck, that's this is my trusty screwdriver, by the way, and so the control deck has to go on, and then the back actually has to go on, and then just making a few connections, and then we should be done. All right, here we are so far. It was able to be stood up properly without it completely collapsing, which is very surprising for me. And no, I did want to say, before you put the monitor in, go ahead and tear off a little a side, like a little bit off the edge of the plastic, or else it might get stuck in this edge here. But that's in the prior step. But returning to this step, when you bring it upright for the first time, you want to make sure that you tighten all the screws, all the metal, I should say bolts. So tighten all the bolts, make sure that they're snug, like for example this one here and this one down here. All the metal bolts that you put in, make sure that you give them another turn to make sure that that they are snug, because you know, once you have this together and you start playing it, you kind of maybe not think of it, and then it'll be moved. Maybe you'll move to a new apartment or a new house or whatever, but you won't think about it. And if there's any loose bolts, then you know it might collapse on you without you even thinking about it. So anyways, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go around and make sure everything is nice and snug. All right, last bit of business here in the back where the monitor is. There's 4 more screws that go in on the, I guess you could say right hand side. Although you're looking at it to my left, it would be on the back of the right hand side as you're looking at it from the front. So there's 2 screws on this side that were never put in because of the order of how you had to put things in. You have to wait till now to put them in, but you have to make sure you kind of push the monitor forward so that the holes line up. All right, now that I tightened the right side of the monitor from the back and then the holes lined up, we can see how sturdy it is now. We can actually do this with the monitor, and now I suppose is the best time to begin to remove the plastic. So not before, now would be the best time. So I believe now we have to put in the controls, and then we simply plug it in and put the back on. All right, so now we have to put in the control deck, and that is simply grabbing this like so, and then hooking up the very flat cable right there, the ribbon cable as they say, and installing it under here, and then installing the audio cable. I believe that is the audio cable. And then placing this control deck back in its place. Okay, so both of the cables, the ribbon cable and the audio cable, are installed. So now we just, before we actually fully install this this control panel, we have to remove the plastic from here. So that's what the instructions say. There's some plastic we need to remove. So I'm going to do that, and then we will move on. All right, we have the trackball installed, but even more importantly, we have the plastic sheeting still over this. When the directions ask you to remove the plastic sheeting, there's actually a thin film on the plastic sheeting you're supposed to remove. So then you're supposed to put the plastic piece back, and then only hand tighten it. What they mean by that is tighten it with a minimal of force to ensure that you don't crack this plexi, because it is plastic at the end of the day, but it protects this artwork here and this paintwork because it will adhere to human oils on the skin, and it will begin to degrade. So it's starting to look like an actual cabinet, and boy, oh boy, what you're seeing here is simply a refraction of the image. It's not my image, but anyways, okay. All right, now we have to add the wiring, which is the finishing touches, and we can start it up. Before I end this, I apologize that it's very dark, but there's two wires, and in the instructions, when it refers to the wire M, that's the wire coming from the speakers on the top, and it floats down here. That goes on the left-hand side, where it shows the, I guess you could say, broadcast or speaker icon, and then the wire M, that goes for the power, and that is that extra wire that you plug in here. You'll figure it out. But the one thing is, make sure that this is in the up position. If it isn't in the up position, then that could prevent it from turning on. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unplug it from the wall and put it into this extension, and we can see what happens when we turn it on. And here we go. It's loading. Arcade1Up. And it'll show you all the entirety of the list of games. Actually, Ms Pacman, Rompers, Rally X, Galaga, DigDug, Rolling Thunder, and there we go. There is your official list of games. And so let me just put the back on. Let me install the back, and then we can start up Ms Pacman and look at some of the other features in this Arcade1Up. All right, now that it's put together, we can finally see the detail on the side panels, and we can see the button placement art and the authentic controls. And here's the bottom where the kick plate should be, and the panel art, if you will, on the front. And you can see where it says 40th anniversary of the original Pac-Man design, Ms. Pacman design, I should say. My apologies. And you can see on the side here, it probably this probably was the classic display right here on either side. The instructions and then the point value, and we can see the exact same design here. And the back is what we've come to know from Arcade1Up, and the simple design. And then it's the same thing with my Mortal Kombat plug. I had forgot that this is the M plug, and they use that for to secure the power button. So it's basically detachable, so you can remove the back or whatever. Take a look at some classic Ms. Pacman action right here. This is just the attract mode on the cabinet, but it correctly represents the actual game itself. So take a look at it, pixel perfect, and the screen itself, the resolution is near perfect. I like the vertical perspective as well. Perfect perspective. Sometimes when you emulate them, like 10,000 games on one machine, not all of the games are rendered correctly in the same perspective. So it's good that all the games are consistent, all represented vertically. So anyways, this is just a great machine. Another game on the cabinet is Rolling Thunder, a great side scroller, and I highly recommend it. Really, my favorite two games are Ms. Pacman and this Rolling Thunder. So Rolling Thunder alone is worth the price of admission, I think. Very fun to play. I recall playing this one in the arcades myself back in the day, and always very entertaining. It's not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination, but at least it's simple. So I really enjoy Rolling Thunder, and so that's it. There's 10 more games, and you can explore it for yourself. It's a great cabinet, and I do recommend it. No more than the price that I paid. Thank you.